Not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, says the Lord Almighty. Zechariah 4:6. The Book of Zechariah is one of the most prophetic, symbolic, and Messiah-focused books in the Old Testament. It's filled with night visions, angelic messages, and end-time imagery. It points to both the first coming of Jesus and his future return, and it calls God's people to hope, holiness, and expectation. Let's walk through the extraordinary vision of Zechariah. Welcome to Zechariah Explained. Zechariah lived during the same time as Haggai, after the Jews returned from Babylonian exile. The temple was in ruins, the people were discouraged, and the future seemed uncertain. God begins with a message. Return to me, and I will return to you. Zechariah 1:3. Then Zechariah begins to receive a series of 8 night visions, divinely inspired dreams that reveal God's plans for his people. Let's briefly summarize the 8 night visions in chapters 1:6-1. The horsemen among the myrtles, God sees the nations at ease while his people suffer. 1. 4 horns and 4 craftsmen, nations that oppressed Israel will be brought down. 1. The measuring line, Jerusalem will be restored beyond boundaries. 1. Clean garments for the high priest, God removes sin and restores spiritual leadership. 1. The lampstand and the olive trees, God empowers his work not by might but by spirit. 1. The flying scroll, a warning against sin and injustice. 1. The woman in a basket, wickedness being removed from the land. 1. 4 chariots, God's sovereign judgment goes out to the earth. Each vision points to one truth. God hasn't forgotten his people, and he's preparing something greater. Zechariah is loaded with prophecies about the coming Messiah, many of which Jesus fulfilled. Your king comes to you, gentle and riding on a donkey. Zechariah 9:9. Fulfilled on Palm Sunday. They will look on me, the one they have pierced. Zechariah 12:10. Fulfilled at the crucifixion. 30 pieces of silver, thrown to the potter. Zechariah 11:13. The price of Judas's betrayal. But Zechariah also looks forward to a Messiah who is both priest and king, wearing a crown and ruling in peace. He will build the temple of the Lord and will sit and rule on his throne. Zechariah 6:13. This is Jesus, who first came to suffer, and will one day return to reign. Chapters 12-14 take us into the end times. Jerusalem will be attacked by many nations, but God will supernaturally defend his people. The Messiah will return to the Mount of Olives and fight for his city. Zechariah 14:4. On that day, his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, and the Lord will be king over the whole earth. Zechariah 14:4-9. This is a future moment, the second coming of Jesus, the day of judgment, and the beginning of eternal peace. Zechariah isn't just about prophecy, it's also a call to live differently. Return to God, let him purify your heart, expect the coming of the King. It's a book for discouraged people, reminding them that God hasn't abandoned his plan. And it's a book for our generation, urging us to get ready for what's ahead. So what does Zechariah teach us? 1. God is always working, even when we can't see it. 1. The Messiah has come, and he will come again. 1. The Spirit, not our strength, builds God's kingdom. 1. Judgment and glory are both part of God's plan. 1. Jesus will reign, and we must prepare our hearts. Thanks for watching. Which vision or prophecy in Zechariah stands out to you most? Let me know in the comments. And remember, the King is coming, not by might, not by power, but by his Spirit. Subscribe, like, comment next video, Malachi Explained, or the Messiah and the Prophets.